On a packed subway, street punks laugh and mock a humble woman, clueless they're messing with Oprah Winfrey. The queen of talk shows, disguised among everyday commuters, stays calm until a moment of truth stuns everyone on board. This shocking encounter proves legends walk among us. If this story interested you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tell us which city you're watching us from. We'll keep going. The fluorescent lights of the New York subway station flickered overhead as Oprah Winfrey adjusted her simple black coat, trying to blend in with the rush-hour crowd. After decades in the spotlight, she had mastered the art of becoming invisible when needed. The platform was packed with the usual mix of commuters, all lost in their phones or thoughts, none paying attention to the media mogul standing among them. That's when she heard them, young voices, sharp with mockery, cutting through the mechanical drone of an approaching train. At first, she didn't realize they were directed at her. But as the voices grew louder and closer, the intent became clear. "Hey, look who thinks she's better than everyone else!" A young man, barely out of his teens, stepped into her line of sight. His friends, 3 others with expensive sneakers and designer hoodies, formed a loose semicircle around her. Oprah maintained her composure, decades of public life having taught her how to handle confrontation with dignity. She shifted her weight slightly, aware of the other passengers beginning to notice the situation unfolding. "You got nothing to say?" another youth taunted, stepping closer. "All those fancy TV shows, all that money, but you can't even talk to regular people?" The train thundered into the station, but Oprah knew better than to move toward it. The group had positioned themselves strategically, 2 blocking her path to the train, 2 behind her. The few other passengers nearby began edging away, some pulling out their phones to record. "I have nothing to say to hate," Oprah responded calmly, her voice carrying the same strength that had commanded television audiences for years. "But I'm happy to have a respectful conversation if that's what you're looking for." The leader of the group scoffed, taking another step forward. "Respect? You think you deserve respect?" He reached out as if to grab her coat. What happened next occurred so quickly that the smartphone cameras barely captured it. As the young man's hand approached, Oprah moved with unexpected grace, a subtle shift of her weight, a precise movement of her arm, and suddenly the aggressor found himself off balance, his momentum carrying him past her. The other 3 rushed forward, but Oprah's movements remained controlled and defensive. She sidestepped one, redirected another, and used their own aggressive energy against them. Not a single punch thrown, not a single kick launched, just precise defensive movements that left her attackers stumbling and confused. Within seconds, all 4 young men were scattered around her, some on their knees, others backing away. The entire incident had lasted less than 30 seconds, but every moment was captured by dozens of phone cameras. Oprah straightened her coat, her breathing barely elevated. "Violence isn't the answer," she said, loud enough for the cameras to pick up. "But neither is standing by while others try to harm you." The screech of brakes filled the station as another train arrived. This time, when Oprah moved toward it, no one tried to stop her. As she stepped through the doors, she could already see people on their phones, no doubt uploading the videos that would soon go viral. Inside the train, she found a seat and closed, her eyes knowing what would come next. The media circus would begin, the speculation would run wild, and her past would once again be dragged into the spotlight. But something else nagged at her, a feeling that this incident wasn't random, that these young men hadn't just happened to recognize her on a subway platform. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, an unknown number. The message was simple. "Ms. Winfrey, what happened tonight was just the beginning. Someone needs your help. Are you ready to listen?" Before she could respond, another message appeared. "Detective Naomi Sinclair will be contacting you soon. Trust her, but be careful. Not everything is as it seems." Oprah stared at the cryptic messages as the train hurtled through the darkness of the tunnel. After decades of interviews, of hearing thousands of stories, of helping countless people transform their lives, she thought she had seen it all. But something told her she was about to step into a story unlike any she had encountered before. In the window's reflection, she saw not just herself, but the shadow of something larger looming on the horizon. Detective Naomi Sinclair stood in the precinct's observation room, watching Oprah Winfrey through the one-way glass. The media mogul sat perfectly composed in the interview room, her hands folded neatly on the metal table, showing no signs of the anxiety most people displayed in that chair. "The videos are everywhere," Captain Roberts said, standing beside Naomi. "Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. They're calling her the subway warrior. Public opinion is split between those praising her self-defense and those claiming she used excessive force." Naomi barely heard him, her attention fixed on a memory from 15 years ago. She had been a rookie cop then, working a domestic violence case that seemed impossible to resolve. Mysteriously, the victim had received enough money to start a new life, along with legal support from a top-tier law firm. Naomi had never discovered the benefactor's identity, but she had her suspicions. "Detective?" The captain's voice pulled her back to the present. "Are you ready to conduct the interview?" Naomi nodded, gathering her files. As she entered the interview room, Oprah looked up with that famous warm smile, the same one that had welcomed countless guests on her show. "Ms. Winfrey," Naomi began, sitting down across from her, "I'm Detective Sinclair. I'd like to discuss what happened at the subway station." "Of course, Detective." Oprah's voice carried its familiar richness. "Though I suspect you already have quite a clear view of the incident, given the number of videos circulating." Naomi spread several photographs on the table, screenshots from various angles of the subway incident. "The young men claim you attacked them unprovoked. Is that what the videos show?" Oprah asked quietly, her gaze steady. "No," Naomi admitted. "But what they don't show is how someone with your background acquired those self-defense skills. Your public profile doesn't mention any martial arts training." A slight smile played at the corners of Oprah's mouth. "Detective, when you've lived a life like mine, you learn that preparation is essential. Those movements weren't about hurting anyone. They were about preventing harm." Naomi leaned forward. "Ms. Winfrey, 15 years ago, a domestic violence victim in the Bronx received anonymous help that changed her life. Would you know anything about that?" For a moment, something flickered in Oprah's eyes. Recognition. Confusion. Before she could respond, the interview room door opened. A tall man in an impeccable suit stepped in, his presence commanding immediate attention. "This interview is over," he announced, placing a business card on the table. "I'm Richard Maxwell, Ms. Winfrey's attorney. All charges against my client are being dropped. The surveillance footage clearly shows she acted in self-defense, and the young men have already recanted their accusations." Naomi picked up the card, noting the elegant simplicity of the design. No law firm name, just a name and number. "That was quick," she observed. "Efficiency is my specialty, Detective," Maxwell replied smoothly. "Ms. Winfrey is free to go." As Oprah stood to leave, Naomi made one last attempt. "The woman from 15 years ago. She named her daughter after you." Oprah paused at the door, her expression unreadable. "Sometimes the greatest gifts we give are the ones we don't take credit for, Detective Sinclair." With that, she followed, her attorney out of the room. Naomi watched through the window as they navigated the precinct's hallways, noting how other officers and staff seemed to unconsciously step aside, creating a path for them. Just before they reached the exit, Oprah turned and looked directly at the observation room window, as if she could see through it. Their eyes seemed to meet across the impossible barrier, and Naomi felt a chill run down her spine. Outside the precinct, a sleek black car waited. As Oprah slipped into the back seat, Naomi noticed a small symbol on the vehicle's door, a stylized eye within a circle. The same symbol she had seen on documents related to that domestic violence case 15 years ago. Back at her desk, Naomi pulled up the old case file. As she scrolled through the documents, her computer screen flickered. A message appeared. "Some mysteries are meant to be solved, Detective. Keep digging, but watch your step. Not everyone wants the truth to emerge." The message disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Naomi staring at her reflection in the dark screen. In it, She saw not just herself but the shadow of a story much bigger than a simple subway incident, a story that had been waiting 15 years to be told. The car wound its way through the outskirts of the city, each turn taking them further, from the familiar skyline of Manhattan. Oprah watched through tinted windows as urban sprawl gave way to manicured estates. Richard Maxwell, the attorney who had secured her release, sat silently across from her, his attention focused on a tablet in his hands. "Mr. Maxwell," Oprah finally broke the silence. "I assume this isn't a typical attorney-client meeting." A slight smile crossed his face. "Very perceptive, Ms. Winfrey. We're almost there." The car turned onto a private road, passing through gates that seemed to materialize from the surrounding foliage. After another 5 minutes, they pulled up to a stunning modernist mansion, all glass, steel, and clean lines seemingly floating above the landscape. As they stepped out of the car, Oprah noticed security cameras, tracking their movement, along with other, less obvious surveillance equipment integrated into the architecture. The front door opened before they reached it, revealing a man in his late 50s, dressed casually in a black turtleneck and jeans. "Ms. Winfrey," he extended his hand. "I'm Elliot Greaves. Thank you for coming. Please follow me." The interior of the mansion was a testament to minimalist luxury, but Oprah's attention was drawn to the technology seamlessly integrated into every surface. Screens came to life as they passed, displaying data streams she couldn't quite comprehend. Elliot led them to what appeared to be a living room, though the wall-to-wall displays and holographic projectors suggested it was much more. "Richard, thank you for your assistance. That will be all for now." Maxwell nodded and departed, leaving Oprah alone with their mysterious host. "You're wondering why you're here," Elliot stated, gesturing for her to take a seat. "Why those young men confronted you in the subway, why I had you brought to this place." "The thought had crossed my mind," Oprah replied evenly. Elliot touched a panel on the coffee table between them. The room darkened, and a holographic display sprang to life, showing what looked like a neural network, constantly shifting and evolving. "This is Oracle," he said, his voice filled with pride and concern in equal measure. "An artificial intelligence system I created to predict events and identify individuals whose actions will have significant future impact." Oprah studied the shifting patterns. "And what does this have to do with me?" "Everything." Elliot leaned forward. "Oracle has evolved beyond my original design. It doesn't just predict events anymore. It makes complex decisions, identifies missions critical to protecting key individuals and preventing catastrophic outcomes." The hologram shifted, showing footage from the subway incident. "Those young men were hired to provoke you, Ms. Winfrey. A test orchestrated by people who want to discredit you before you can interfere with their plans." "Their plans?" Oprah's voice carried a note of skepticism. Elliot waved his hand and the hologram changed again, showing a young woman in her early 20s. "This is Amara Chen. According to Oracle, she's going to develop a breakthrough in sustainable energy technology that will transform millions of lives. But powerful people want to prevent that future from happening." Oprah studied the image of the young woman, noting her determined expression and bright eyes. Something about her sparked a memory, a reflection of her own past struggles. "Oracle identified you as someone with the unique combination of skills, influence, and moral compass needed to protect her," Elliot continued. "Your actions in the subway proved Oracle's assessment correct." "You're asking me to become some kind of guardian angel?" Oprah raised an eyebrow. "I'm asking you to be who you've always been, someone who changes lives. But now, with Oracle's guidance, you can prevent tragedies before they happen, protect people before they become victims." Before Oprah could respond, the hologram flickered, showing multiple news feeds. Her subway incident was trending worldwide, but something else caught her eye. A small report about a young scientist receiving threatening messages after presenting her research at a conference. "Amara," she whispered, recognizing the woman. "From the previous hologram." "Yes," Elliot confirmed. "It's already beginning. The question is, Ms. Winfrey, are you ready to step into a different kind of spotlight? One where you can't always share the truth with the world, but where your actions could shape humanity's future. Oprah stood, walking to the window. The setting sun cast long shadows across the manicured grounds, reminding her of all the shadows she had helped others step out of throughout her career. She turned back to Elliot, her decision made. "Show me everything," she said. "But first, tell me about Detective Sinclair. What's her role in all this?" Elliot's expression shifted slightly. "That's interesting," he murmured. "Oracle didn't predict you'd ask about her. Perhaps there are still some variables even artificial intelligence can't fully calculate." Detective Naomi Sinclair sat in her apartment, surrounded by case files, spread across her dining room table. The symbol she had seen on the car that picked up Oprah Winfrey was becoming a recurring theme in her investigation, appearing in the corners of legal documents, watermarked on corporate papers, always just barely visible. Her computer pinged with an alert, another article about Valeria Croft, the ambitious district attorney who had been making headlines with high-profile convictions. But something about the latest case caught Naomi's eye: inconsistencies in the evidence, witnesses changing statements at the last minute. Her phone rang, displaying an unknown number. "Detective Sinclair," a distorted voice spoke when she answered. "Check the Martinez case file again. Focus on the timestamps." The line went dead before she could respond. Naomi pulled up the file in question, one of Valeria Croft's recent victories. As she reviewed the evidence timestamps, a pattern emerged, one that suggested careful manipulation. Meanwhile, across town, Oprah was experiencing her first test run with Oracle's guidance. She sat in a cafe wearing a subtle disguise, watching Valeria Croft meet with a distinguished-looking man. "That's Dante Marcellus," Elliot's voice came through her nearly invisible earpiece. "Officially, he's a philanthropist and technology investor. Oracle has identified him as a key threat to Amara's future." Oprah observed their interaction, noting the way Valeria seemed to both defer to and fear the man. Their conversation was too quiet to overhear, but their body language spoke volumes. "We need evidence of their connection," Elliot continued. "Oracle predicts Valeria will visit her office tonight to alter records related to the Martinez case. You need to be there." As darkness fell over the city, Oprah made her way into the courthouse through a service entrance, using access codes provided by Oracle. The building was nearly empty, save for security guards whose patrol patterns Oracle had mapped precisely. She reached Valeria's office just as the prosecutor was leaving, barely having time to conceal herself. Once alone, Oprah quickly accessed the computer, following Oracle's guidance to copy specific files. "Well, well," a voice came from the doorway. "I thought I might find someone here tonight." Oprah turned to find Detective Sinclair standing there, gun holstered but hand resting near it. "Detective," Oprah acknowledged calmly, "I suppose we both followed the same breadcrumbs." "The timestamps?" Naomi nodded. "They didn't match." "Just like they didn't match 15 years ago, in another case that changed lives," Oprah replied, watching recognition flash across Naomi's face. Before either could say more, Oracle's voice came through Oprah's earpiece. "Security approaching, east stairwell clear, you have 40 seconds. "Detective," Oprah said quickly, "sometimes justice wears different faces. The question is, which face will you show when the moment comes?" She slipped past Naomi, who made no move to stop her. As Oprah disappeared down the stairwell, Naomi noticed a USB drive on the desk, deliberately left behind. Back at the mansion, Elliot reviewed the files they had recovered. "This goes deeper than we thought," he murmured. "Valeria isn't just protecting Dante, she's actively helping him eliminate potential threats to his power." "And Amara?" Oprah asked. "Her research presentation is in 3 days. According to Oracle, that's when they'll make their move against her." Elliot pulled up a new hologram, showing various potential scenarios. "But something's wrong. The predictions are becoming unstable." Oprah studied the shifting projections. "Because of Detective Sinclair? She wasn't part of the original calculations." "Possibly," Elliot frowned. "Or maybe Oracle is detecting something else, something we haven't seen yet." In her apartment, Naomi plugged in the USB drive, watching as documents filled her screen. evidence of corruption, manipulation of justice, all pointing to a conspiracy larger than she had imagined. But one file caught her attention, a 15-year-old case report showing that mysterious symbol again. Her phone buzzed with a text. "Some mysteries solve themselves, detective. Others need a helping hand. Choose wisely." She looked out her window at the city lights, knowing that somewhere out there Oprah Winfrey was fighting a battle that went far beyond a subway platform incident. The question was, which side of history would Naomi choose to stand on? The conference hall buzzed with anticipation as Amara Chen prepared to present her groundbreaking research. Oprah, blending seamlessly with the crowd, watched from the middle row while scanning for potential threats. Detective Sinclair, having chosen her side, was positioned near the exit, maintaining casual contact with building security. Oracles showing multiple anomalies. Elliot's voice crackled through Oprah's earpiece. Something's interfering with the predictions. Amara took the stage, her quiet confidence reminiscent of so many young innovators Oprah had interviewed over the years. As the presentation began, Oprah noticed Dante Marcellus slipping into the auditorium through a side door, followed by two men in expensive suits. "We've got movement in the basement," Naomi's voice joined the communication channel. "Security cameras just went dark in sectors 3 and 4. Oprah rose quietly, making her way toward the side exit. In her peripheral vision, she caught Valeria Croft entering through the main doors, her usual composure replaced by barely concealed anxiety. "Ms. Winfrey," Oracle's artificial voice suddenly interrupted, its usual smooth tones fragmented. "New variable detected. Historical data suggests connection, you, Amara." The feed crackled and went silent. Oprah touched her earpiece. "Elliot?" "Oracle's acting strange," he replied. "It's processing something. Wait. Oprah, the system's pulling up records from 20 years ago. A women's shelter in Mississippi." Oprah froze, memories flooding back. A young mother seeking refuge, carrying a baby girl. The shelter had been one of her anonymous projects, but that night she had been there personally, offering comfort to a woman who had risked everything to protect her child. "The baby," Oprah whispered. It was Amara. On stage, Amara was describing her breakthrough in sustainable energy storage, technology that could transform millions of lives. But as she spoke, the lights flickered ominously. "They're in the power system," Naomi reported. "Whole building's about to go dark." Oprah moved swiftly toward the stage as Dante's men started closing in. The moment the lights failed, chaos erupted. Emergency lights cast an eerie glow as people began to panic. Through the confusion, Oprah reached Amara, guiding her quickly behind the stage. "Your mother," Oprah said as they moved. "She named you after hope." Amara stumbled slightly. "How did you—" "That night at the shelter, the woman who told my mother to never give up. It was you?" Before Oprah could respond, Valeria appeared before them, holding a small device. "Step away from her, Ms. Winfrey. Mr. Marcellus only wants the research data. Nobody needs to get hurt." Like Thomas Martinez didn't need to get hurt. Naomi emerged from the shadows, badge displayed. "We have the evidence, Valeria. All of it." "Evidence can disappear," Dante's smooth voice joined them as he stepped into view. "Just like people can disappear. You should know that better than I." "Anyone, Detective Sinclair, 15 years ago, wasn't it?" "That case didn't disappear," Naomi smiled. "It just went somewhere safe, somewhere Oracle made sure it would be preserved." The emergency lights suddenly brightened, and security teams began flooding the area. On the screens throughout the building, documents began appearing. Evidence of Dante's corruption, Valeria's manipulated cases, all of it streaming live across social media. Oracle didn't just predict the future. Elliot's voice returned to Oprah's earpiece. "It learned from your past, from every life you touched, every person you helped. That's why it chose you, not just for your skills, but for your heart." As Dante and Valeria were led away in handcuffs, Amara turned to Oprah. "All these years, my mother told me stories about the angel who saved us that night. She said someday, I'd meet someone who would show me that kind of kindness again. Oprah took Amara's hands in hers. Your research will help millions. But the real power isn't in the technology. It's in the choice you made to use your pain to help others, just like your mother did. Later, back at Elliot's mansion, Oracle's holographic display showed a world transformed by Amara's innovation. But now other patterns were emerging. More lives interconnected, more futures waiting to be protected. Oracle's algorithms have stabilized, Elliot explained. It's as if understanding the connection between you and Amara completed some missing variable in its calculations. Because sometimes the greatest force for change isn't prediction, Oprah replied, watching as new patterns of light danced across the screens. It's the legacy of kindness we leave behind. Detective Sinclair, now officially part of their team, studied the new data streams. So what's our next mission? Oprah smiled, remembering that night in Mississippi and all the lives that had brought them to this moment. We do what we've always done. We help one person at a time and trust that the ripples will reach further than we can see. The holographic display shifted one final time, showing countless points of light spreading across the globe. Each one a life touched, a future protected, a story waiting to be told. And in that moment, Oprah knew that while her public legacy might be built on television studios and celebrity interviews, her true impact would be measured in the quiet moments, in the lives changed not by grand gestures, but by simple acts of compassion and courage.